Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to today's video. I'm Chris here with Elliott Wave Cafe. It is Monday, the 6th of October, and we'll take a look here at the main indices. Then we'll take a look, as always, at the crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. And then we'll look at also at the technical picture. So we'll start with the Elliott Wave counts, see where this market is. Things have changed slightly. I mean, we've gotten some pretty decent rally in the crypto market since I think last time we've talked, and we were kind of waiting for those. The equity markets continue to act fairly strongly in here and, make new all-time highs. They are, kind of tight and slow. No huge explosions, but, we're continuing to follow this upward trend. At some point, this wave 3 will probably finish. As everything does, but and then we'll fall into. I'm thinking maybe some sort of a fourth wave. We'll see. It can take so many forms. It could be a triangle, a complex correction. It could be a zigzag. It could be sideways. It could be a bit down. I mean, there's just so much. I mean, if you look at the wave 2, it's been pretty deep. So we're expecting, in a wave 4, something that's probably going to be more drawn out and more sideways whenever that wants to start. I'm not saying it is starting. These labels in here, they're just guidance. They're not, they don't mean anything else. I'm not here to tell you, hey, the top in Nasdaq Composite is going to be exactly at 261.8, 23,322. Nobody really knows. So it's just some targets there, and we'll see how it reacts once it gets there. But for right now, things continue to look good. I'm still heavily invested on margin as well. I'm going to try to reduce a little bit in here. I think I've gotten a bit too much exposure, so I'll try to pare back a little bit. And as soon as I see signs that the market wants to pull back, and I see some heavy selling, some decent volume, some break of averages, key zones, stuff like that, then I will pull back. But for right now, this continues to look pretty good. If we look at the Russell, small caps, a move to new all-time highs. I mean, we're looking for a break of this larger wave 2, and the continuation in this wave 1 of a much larger wave 3 blue. And right now I'm just labeling this as a wave 3 advance, so I'm expecting further upside, and we'll see how this unfolds. So far we just have a bunch of overlaps and decent impulses, but nothing that I would put my label on at the moment. So that's on the Russell. Then S&P 500, it's quite on a similar label with the Nasdaq Composite. You already know that. You've been watching my videos here, and that's on the same story. Eventually a fourth wave pullback, with another wave 5. And why I'm saying this is because if we do create some type of a top and we're pulling back in some kind of a wave 2, forming a top in a wave 1, it will take a little bit of time. It would probably look something like this, where you would pull back in a fourth wave, and you will have some false starts. You'll have some complex moves, break below some averages, go back up, and eventually make a final move into a wave 5, where people usually get trapped, and then you start to reverse. So I expect this to be a little bit of a process, and we'll see how that unfolds. But those are my thoughts in the S&P. I mean, the semiconductor, I think I put this on Twitter today, just just amazing, because listen, we've broken above this ABC, and this is, as beautiful as it gets when you look at an ABC pattern, a 3-wave decline, wave A off the low, a wave B, and then another 5 waves down in a wave C. And that's just the nature of, Ralph Nelson Elliott saw these moves, long before any of us, were alive, and just, like, he could put, labels on this, and just, and this is not, it's not only, it's not only him. There's plenty of other famous technicians that, that look at declines, and they don't necessarily have to label them, but there is, things like, a 3-wave correction, or a double bottom, somebody like, some of them call them, and it's, it's all kind of standard. It's whatever, we're using the Elliott wave procedures, but these patterns repeat over and over and over in the markets. So anyway, it's beautiful kind of how it worked itself over here. And then, it gave a signal on the long side. The more major one, you could have looked on the move of the lows here as, it's starting to kind of move up back in April, May, with volume and things like that. And, those were early signs that this wave could be over. And then impulses of the lows, things like that. It breaks above averages. So all of those matter. But the most important one is this break above this B wave. And that leads to a move higher here. So, up until this point, basically, the market has been recovering this decline. And if you need to start a new higher leg, you do it basically from this high going much higher. So if this is a truth wave 3, this thing is just kind of starting, and it's not going to go up, like a rocket, right? But that's the direction of it, and that's kind of what we're looking for. And so it's got plenty to go if this is a true move. So that's what I'm watching. I'm labeling this again as a wave 2. Some of you might say, well, Chris, this could be a wave 4 and this could be a wave 5. It's possible, but usually when you have a wave 5 and a wave top of a wave 3, you usually have a big divergence between the top of the wave 3 and the top of the wave 5, and that kind of gives you a clue that would be a fifth wave where the market loses momentum. If anything, here it accelerates with the RSI being really high here at about 80 or something. So that's just a little bit of a explanation here of kind of what I'm thinking about the corrections. So yeah, let's leave these, and really quick, I'll take a look at IBIT, but I want to also take a look at Bitcoin. But IBIT, remember in my previous videos how we were looking for this wave too, and we said, well, if you're going to fail and come back, you either break below this or somewhere close to it. But once you break back above these levels, things are getting kind of confirmed, and the market moved back. So, one could put the wave 2 here and label this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the wave 1 and 2, and now we're in a 3, 4, and 5, which would be wave 1 only of a much larger wave 3. But we'll talk about this here in Bitcoin. Nonetheless, this shows you kind of how kind of short and fairly supported the correction was, and how important it was, for the market to kind of support that zone. And yeah, you combine this with some LFA structure, and you can have winners on your hand. So watch that, because that's important. And then let's take a look at my other motive wave here with. We can start with the XRP, and then we'll go Ethereum and Bitcoin. But look, XRP was dragging its feet a little bit. It finally broke above this 299, which I said is the first level that I wanted to see to kind of give me confidence. Then I said, let's break above the trend line, and it did that as well. So now it's consolidating and it's just kind of tight. I think this is a game on type of a move. I think, you had the nice double bottom here. You could. I don't know if this is a new low or if it isn't, depending, I guess, on the platform. So I don't have a problem moving this fourth wave back here and starting the wave count from here, as I don't have a problem starting it from here. Because why? Because the direction is still up. So I don't really care where do we start it from. That's irrelevant at the moment. We can adjust this later. The idea is that if this broke and if this is a true move, that this should continue. So I'm willing to begin buying XRP at the current levels, and I'm willing to increase those above 314 and above 318 for moves above this high, to continue to move higher. Now, if we come back and we start to break below this level here, and this would have to happen, if you initiate this, or if anybody initiates, and this is not a financial advice or anything, it's just kind of how I would trade. This is basically a key zone that I want to watch. If the market gets back below this 281, I think we can have some problems. So starting small here, it's important, because if the market turns back and breaks 280, then this loss is minimal. So the signal is here, but then a break below that takes you out, and you're losing minimal. But then if it works, then that looks good, and then more confirmation comes in over that, and now, you have a core position that you can defend, and there is like more strategies from here on out, but this is kind of how you get started. So XRP, I think it looks good. We'll take a look at the technical page to see how that is. Back to Ethereum. This was also, we were monitoring this as a fourth wave, and watching the support. A breakdown came close to this level. We talked about this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beautiful ABC, and now we're back up. On the futures markets, and I said this on Twitter, on the futures market, this high was already taken out, which is a good signal and a positive signal. And once we get back above here, I think that's the point where things can start to accelerate, just like in kind of Bitcoin did. So Ethereum looking good. It's a bit lagging, but it's doing nothing wrong, and I would expect it to continue to go after it created this kind of beautiful correction. Sometimes you do fail at the previous B wave highs, but it doesn't mean necessarily that you're going to turn back and overtake this low. What it could happen is that this could be a wave one of this larger fifth wave, and you pull back a little bit in here, and then you go in the next break, and then still I would look at that as a nice key pivot. As a defense, I would probably take it something like a retracement of a 61.8 of this decline. So that comes of this advance. I'm sorry, that comes at about 41.85. So anything below these levels here it's kind of combining with 4,200. Anything below 4,200, I would start to just kind of be, I don't know, maybe 78.6, that would be a bit extreme, but that would tell me, hey, things are wrong, and then if it turns from there, then one can always try again. So that's on Ethereum, and then really quickly on Bitcoin here. Look, we've talked about this. Just watch previous YouTube, and by the way, we just opened a Discord channel. I just opened a Discord channel. I've never had one, so it's fresh, new. I opened it this morning. It got some interest. We'll see, how it goes. But if you guys want to come back, if you guys want to come on there, and if you have questions, charts, discussions, market, non-market, what have you, I'm on there, and you can bring your charts as questions. I'll put a link below this video so you can see, but that could be, a way where you can, pick up more knowledge about Elliott wave markets in general, and we'll see how active people are. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But could be a way to kind of interact with me, and with each other over there. So anyway, Bitcoin, it is, has moved above 114. A pretty strong move, and this was the first signal that the market gave us that it's ready to go, and it's got some positive momentum behind it. So that was one level. Then we wanted it to break 118. It did that as well. Now we broke the new all-time high. So it's just great. It's it's simple. It's based on the market's response. There is no picking any lows. There's no need for that. It's basically as the market turns, you're looking at this. Now, is this done or not in terms of the first move? Nobody knows, but again, if he wants to correct from these levels a little bit and just, do something like that, I would be totally fine with it. He could even come and retest these levels. I don't want it to go too deeper. So the tighter it stays, the better if it decides to correct a little bit in here. And that would be, let's say, another wave 2. And then you can actually explode 3, 4, and 5. If the market is ready, it can be small pullbacks, and however, I'm writing it up as much as possible, and for right now things are looking good, and we'll try to stay with it. But if you haven't seen, I put this on Twitter too. It's just the idea is get us towards 165. Back here you have equality between wave 1 and wave 3. And you also have some kind of a multiple between this wave 1 and this eventual wave 3. So there's going to be a cluster of zones in that area, with some ultimate targets, or targets later on, maybe next year, towards maybe 270 and what have you. But that's down the line, 250. We'll see. One day at a time here, 1 week at a time. So this is on kind of my short analysis on the crypto market. Now I do want to show you really quickly basically kind of what's happening from a technical perspective here with the moving averages, RSI, things like that. So S&P, just beautiful trend. We did get, sorry, I'm used with making things smaller, I think, on Motive Wave with my minus, but it touched the 20-day moving average and it bounced, right? Trend. Every once in a while, it would probably try to approach 50, but it continues to look good. RSI, it's into positive territory. There's not a lot of arguing with the fact that it's going up. Once you get back below the 6,500, then we can talk. For right now, things are fine from this perspective. IWM, it's been rejected a couple of times in here from these highs, but nothing wrong. It's just, I guess, people are still a bit scared in here, maybe traders, that the breakout won't hold or is not strong enough or what have you, and they're still itchy. But it's still fine. We're in an uptrend there. NASDAQ, and this is the 100. Yes, this one, it is, it pulled back a little bit in here. What is this 90 news? Something is wrong then. Let me take a look at the QQQ. Yeah, this is better. So I don't know what that is. I might have to get rid of that. But yeah, just, again, making your all-time highs, nice in an uptrend, maybe a bit extended from the 20-day. So, but it's doing fine. And then Bitcoin, like I said back last week too, once you get back above these moving averages, right, that's another signal that the market it has a nice tailwind, and it should be supported. So that's what happened. And then XRP, there you go. Now you got back above these, and now you're supported below. It's just simple. It sounds simple. Sometimes it's not that simple, but but there is supply demand, right? Moving averages, things that people watch, average prices, things like that, and the market is watching this. They consider that's important. So I'm not going to argue with that. I like it, and let's see if it helps us. And then Ethereum, again, just climbed back above those levels. Here we are again on top of that B wave, above the moving. So we have, still a little bit of a resistance, but we have defense below us. And I like the volume too. So long video. Wow, thanks for watching. I will talk to you later. And if you want to find more, you can find me on Twitter, find me now on Discord. It's much easier. So bring your questions, charts, what have you. We'll talk later. Bye.